Hello, this is my last smoking video. It is my last because the topic of this video will be the effects of pot versus the effects of smoking cigarettes. As well, I will include desire, fifth dimension cycles, and a possibility of future videos. So, tonight I will be smoking Marlboro Shorts 72s. If you are joining me today, now is the time to light up. So I kind of realized when I make these videos that a cigarette only lasts 5 minutes and the rest of it is just me talking. Which is okay. I kind of wanted something like that, but I hoped a cigarette would have lasted longer. As I said, I will be talking about the effects of smoking a cigarette versus the effects of smoking pot. So if you're watching this video, you probably have smoked pot. And you are probably have smoked a cigarette, I imagine. And today I'm going to talk about the difference between the two, in detail as I can, and you'll be the judge of what I say. I love cigarettes, I'm going to be honest. After a beer, or maybe a couple of drinks with a friend out on the town, a cigarette hits the spot. If you've ever been with a girl, or if you have a girlfriend right now, and you do smoke cigarettes with her, it can be the tits right after sex. And it can be the tits while you're just hanging out. Now, why I mention these things? I can't help smiling. I've been smiling a lot recently, guys. Anyway, cigarettes. Yes, they feel good. Yes, they are sexy. And yes, they're easy. $5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, wherever you are. Maybe even cheaper in some places. You can buy one almost anywhere, and by one I mean an entire pack of 20. So there's no way to just get one cigarette without bumming one, so they force you to buy 20 at a time. It's a marketing ploy. Did you get it? They want you to get addicted. The nicotine is consumable. You consume nicotine. And so they get paid the more you consume, and the more you consume, the more addicted you get. Therefore 20. A good amount to be addicted to. Now, let's talk real fast about the positives, as I just did. Again, sexy, it's great for sex. It's easy. It's convenient. It's friendly. If you've ever smoked a cigarette watching a movie, or just whenever, it's friendly. Driving down a car, it's a very friendly experience with yourself, and it's sociable. And there's plenty of other positives, I'm sure. It's relaxing. But now I'm going to get to the negatives. And this is going to suck, because I love cigarettes. I am going to be quitting cigarettes. Not because I want to, but because I have to. You see, cigarettes also have, especially nowadays, a lot of carcinogens in them. Disgusting things. They rot your lungs. They're horrible for you. And I think there's a second biggest killer in America behind a cardiovascular disease, like a heart attack from eating too much fast food, from smoking cigarettes. They are related. So, cigarettes kill you. That's number one. And anything that kills me, I don't want to be a part of. Now, let's talk about not only the aspect of possible death from smoking these things, but the immediate side effects. It's harder to breathe after you smoke them, so meditating becomes more difficult and trifling. They leave a lingering smell that can offend others. They're not always cool in public. You can't smoke them anywhere anymore because of the effects of secondhand smoking. As I have just mentioned, they are not cool in public. They are expensive if you buy a pack every day, or if you're just trying to save money. And finally, which is a little bit esoteric, but they clog your pineal gland. I am putting it out now. I don't know who's watching this. So let's talk about the pineal gland, and then I'll get into pot. I'll try not to make this video too long, but I'm sure it will be. And whoever watches these other ways, like Jim, I'm thankful for you. So, cigarettes clog the pineal gland. What is the pineal gland? I've mentioned it before a little bit in my previous videos, but today I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. Excuse me, 1 second. I'm just getting my notes in a better order for me. The pineal gland is what connects you to the fifth dimension. There is hypothesis that when you sleep, DMT is released. Some people disagree with this, and some science articles have proven that DMT is not released while sleeping. However, not all science articles are correct. And I know I'll probably get flack from this from the science community, but it is true. And there is possibility for future research that could change old articles into incorrect ones. So the pineal gland does actually, though, dissolve the DMT that you do experience in any way. Your body does need DMT. And though I just said, and I'm going to contradict myself right now, and I'm very sorry, but though I just said DMT is hypothetically not released, I believe it is while you sleep. And the reasons for this is a little simple. Melatonin is what your brain releases to help you fall asleep. I actually have melatonin right now in a bottle in case I need help falling asleep sometimes because I don't get enough sun. Melatonin is a byproduct of being in the sun. I don't know the exact science for that, but I know it's true. Melatonin, chemical name, is acetyl-5-methoxytryptamine. Tryptamine, dimethyltryptamine, methoxytryptamine. They're both a tryptamine family, which means that they both get dissolved in the pineal gland. Ultimately, this means that there is a DMT chemical reaction going on, which is the product of dreams, visions, after-death experiences, and connection to the spiritual world. Many of you have probably heard stories of people having near-death experiences where they feel like they are truly beyond their own body and transcended into a future, possible fifth or spiritual realm. A lot of people call it heaven, and a lot of people call it hell. Today, I'm not going to go deeply into those things, but I just want to tell you that those reasons why those experiences happen is the production of DMT. So, DMT is released in your brain while you sleep. It can be released during prayer. It is released during meditation. It is released if you inject it, take it, inhale it, or find any other way to get into your body. It is a natural byproduct of deep contemplation of self, of God, of universe, or of anything really which is profound. It is, in a sense, the dreaming chemical which goes beyond, if I may say it, our natural existence, which we call life. However, DMT is part of life, and it is very natural. Almost all creatures have it. Let me rephrase that. All living creatures have DMT. It is a natural thing, natural chemical found in all humans, just as protein, just as iron, calcium, carbon, or any other chemical for that matter. And it is very important for our well-being. If you have taken DMT before, you know this, because after the trip, you either feel a lot better or a lot worse. But the feeling of worseness does not really reside from your self-worth. It derives from your confusion. But this confusion is studied on, if practiced on and meditated on, will bring you into a greater realm of enlightenment, into a higher vibration. DMT is all about your vibration. DMT is what connects us to the highest vibration, which is God. Each soul of ours, or each pineal gland which connects us to that soul, is in full relationship with God at all times. At any time we can connect into the soul and touch and reach the highest points of our existence and feel and be and see and just be completely one with God. This is the nature of our soul, being one with God. However, we all sin. And now that's going to sound funny. But what is a sin? If the fifth dimension is the transcension of human DNA into the highest spiritual realm possible, and glory be to the infinite God, though we are ever seeking higher realms within higher dimensions, the fifth, eighth, and 11th dimension, which is not fathomable, and why I only speak in fifth dimensions for now, is because what we do with knowledge, which is just time, consciousness, and interaction, what we do with information is either good or bad. Now, there are no bad things, in a sense. For all things do come from God, and all things do come back to God. But let's just say God is very organized and categorizes the good from the bad. And though it may all be Him, He still does not like the bad. All may be God, but God, being the highest self, does not allow bad within Himself. It is a possibility, for He is infinite. It is a fact that it is Him. But it is also a fact that you are violent, in the sense that you have the potential to kill. It is also in the fact that you are Hitler, in a sense. That you have the potential to strive to destroy a nation. In fact, you are the devil, if you truly believe it to be. just as God would be formidable of the devil, for it is in his possibility. But God is not the devil. God is God. He is a singular, perfect existence of infinity, the highest one. So if I've been talking about fifth dimension and the desire and seeking of higher vibrations, which basically means a better life for you, more control of your life, a closer connection to God, a feeling of oneness with all things around you, and overall greater well-being, then I am speaking of... I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. If I was speaking of all those things, then I'm speaking of tribulation and of sin. I'm sorry for using those words again, for those are all that I can truly say. Other than bad, God is infinite, of course, and we are all trying to experience God. I'm trying to get back on my train of thought. We will all be inside of tribulation. Things will happen to us that are out of our control. We are not perfect yet. We cannot fully manifest and control every single aspect of our life, for there is a God, and we are not perfect. We are not perfectly one with the God that exists. This explains why, if we desire to move things with our mind, perhaps, it is not possible, unless truly you do have a gift. But most of us, and I mean most of us, cannot do that. Telepathy is mostly out of our reach. We do have a greater connection when we get closer to God, and mind reading, inferring, intuition gets stronger as we do get closer and closer to this God, and we feel more and more connected to this God. However, as we sin, we lose this connection with our God, because as God is infinite, his perfection is infinite, and every sin we takes us a step out of that perfect algorithm, that perfect existence of life, and leads us closer and closer to that infinite devil. Now, when I speak infinite devil, I speak sincerely the infinite possibility of sin. For there is no end to it, which is other than death. But there is no possibility of doing too much sin. It is impossible, for life is infinite as we are alive, and anything we can imagine is possible. Now, what is a sin, and why am I talking so much about it as if I am rebuking you? I am not. Sincerely, I am speaking out of love. When we sin, we disobey God's will, which would be the infinite perfection of his experience, of what he desires to be. For all of fifth dimensional living, all of the pineal gland, all of spiritual teaching of the greatest caliber is to be like God. It is to be godly, to be holy, to be pure. It is called the Holy Dalai Lama for a reason. It's holy. He does not sin to the best of his ability. So again, a sin is just disobeying God's will. And it's obvious what that is, for when we do it, there is a negative side effect greater than which we can simply call a coincidence. It is a synchronicity of the sorts. If you do commit a sin, say for instance, greed, there is a temporary self-enjoyment of yourself, of the ego, of the person, of the idea of disconnection, which is the ultimate sin. That you are not one with the God, that you are not one with all things. When you seek to separate yourself from the Almighty God and make yourself your own God, different and separate from all entities, then you seek to destroy yourself and find yourself in death or hell. And in this instance, I am speaking simply of the act of not committing yourself to infinite love or the infinite perfection which God is, which is how we transcend, get to the fifth dimension, or simply experience the greatest happiness in life. It's been said countless of times, do to others unto what you would have them do to you. And that commandment is as deep as all commandments could ever be. It is to treat others how we should be treated. And if we do not see ourselves in the highest of forms, which is to be one with God, to be the very entity that He is, who, like, it's so amazing to be alive. The grace, and I hate to use those words, but the love, compassion, and gratefulness that is the human existence, when you find it, is infinite love. And you will be able to find it if you have a wife and deliver children. We are givers. We are made from God, of God, to be God. Christianity knows this. And practiced perfectly, it is this. Jesus Christ is God because He did His will perfectly. But I am not here to convince you to devote your life to Jesus Christ. I'm here to convince you about the fifth dimension, quitting smoking, and finding love in growth. I have tangented a lot, and this has gone on far too long, so I will simply ignore the conversation about pot for this moment and quickly go to the end. I will be creating future videos. I will be doing those. But it will not be me smoking cigarettes. Perhaps I will be vaping, which is fairly unhealthy because of the nicotine and because of the chemicals used to make the liquid. But in comparison to smoking a cigarette, it is far healthier. I may be just talking to you. There may be music going on. I may have a friend over. But I will make future videos that speak about this. All in all, I want you to take from this video the idea of love, the idea of oneness with God, the idea of perfection, the idea of infinity, and the idea that you can choose if you want to find yourself as you truly are, which would be God within you and within all of things and all of us. So expand your DMT, expand your horizons, and find yourself closer and closer to Jesus Christ. Peace. Love you guys, and God bless. Amen.